Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into something crucial for English learners.
Yeah. What's that?
Well, it's about breaking free from that habit of, translating everything in your head first.
Mm.
From Gujarati or Hindi, for example.
Ah, yes. Trying to actually think directly in English. That's a big one.
It really is. We looked at a great discussion about this featuring a learner named Pari, and we pulled out 5 really practical tips to help you make that shift.
And it's such an important shift to make, isn't it? Because once you stop constantly juggling languages in your mind,
Things just click better.
exactly, your speaking gets smoother, understanding becomes easier, even writing improves. It's like creating a direct line to English in your brain.
Yeah, a more natural pathway. So Perry shared some fantastic, really hands-on techniques that worked for her. We're going to unpack 5 key ones.
Okay, let's do it. Where do we start?
Right, let's dive straight in. Tip number 1, start with daily routine sentences.
Okay. Sounds simple.
It does, but it's deceptively powerful. It's about building a foundation.
How so?
Well, the idea is just to consciously say, maybe just in your head, the simple things you do every day.
Like narrating your own actions.
Sort of, yeah.
Mhm.
It starts to make those basic sentence structures almost automatic. So your brain isn't working so hard later on for, harder conversations.
Right, building that unconscious base. So what kind of sentences are we talking about?
We're talking really basic everyday stuff like, I'm brushing my teeth.
Or I'm cooking lunch.
Exactly. Or I'm going to the shop. Things you're doing anyway. You already understand the action, so you're just linking it directly to the English words.
Makes sense. And Perry had a personal example of this, didn't she?
She did. She mentioned how she'd deliberately think, I am eating dinner, while she was eating.
Even when she was alone.
Yeah, even alone. It wasn't about telling anyone. It was purely for her own mind, just strengthening that link. Action, idea, English.
That's a great, simple exercise. Okay, so you build that foundation with daily stuff. What's next?
Okay, so once you've got that baseline, the next step is, well, to look outwards. Tip 2, describe your surroundings.
Ah, applying the same principle to the environment.
Precisely. You consciously start labeling things you see, objects, actions happening around you.
So walking around thinking this is a fan or...
Exactly. Or the boy is running, the light is on, simple observations.
It's like building mental connections, isn't it? The more you consciously connect, say, the image of a fan with the words, this is a fan, the stronger that pathway gets.
Right. It makes retrieving and using that language faster later, more automatic.
And Pari had a good example for this too, I recall.
Yeah, a really relatable one. She talked about looking in the mirror
Oh.
and describing herself in English. Like, this is my face, my eyes are small, I'm smiling.
That's very immediate, isn't it? It really shifts the focus. You're not translating a thought you already had.
No, you're forming the thought in English based directly on what you see.
Yeah, creating those direct links, visual input straight to English words. The more you do it, the more natural it feels.
Definitely. Okay, moving on to tip number 3. This one changes the time of day. We're talking about thinking in English before sleeping.
Ah, interesting. Using that wind down period.
Exactly. The idea is, as you're lying there, you sort of gently review your day.
But in English.
Right. Consciously try to think about what happened using English.
And Perry gave an example, like...
Today I went to college. I met my friend. We had ice cream. Super simple stuff.
It doesn't need to be grammatically perfect or a whole novel.
Not at all.
And the value there is... It's low pressure, right? You're not talking to anyone.
Exactly. That fear of making mistakes kind of fades away.
So it's a good way to just reinforce vocabulary, maybe sentence structures you heard or used during the day, all while you're relaxed.
Yeah, sort of letting it sink in.
Okay, that makes sense. Tip 4.
Tip 4 is about something we talk about a lot, actually. Using English content. Immersion.
Right. But specifically for helping you think in English.
Yes, because constantly exposing your brain to how English sounds and flows naturally helps it internalize the patterns.
So things like watching English YouTube videos, maybe with subtitles at first?
Yeah, subtitles are fine to start. Or listening to English podcasts, like this one, hopefully.
We hope so. Or reading maybe short stories or just news headlines.
Right. Anything that creates an environment where English is just there. It's the default input.
And over time, even if you start with subtitles, your brain gradually starts to kind of bypass the translation step. It just processes the English directly.
You're basically integrating English into your mental landscape, making it feel normal not foreign.
And variety helps too, doesn't it? Different shows, different articles, different speakers. You get exposed to more words, more ways of saying things.
Absolutely. It enriches your mental toolkit for thinking in English.
Okay.
Last one, tip 5.
Let's hear it.
This tackles a really common problem. What if you don't have anyone to practice speaking with?
The practice partner problem.
Yeah. So the tip is speak alone if needed.
Right. Just talk to yourself.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Or talk in front of a mirror. Or record yourself speaking.
Okay. I know Perry mentioned recording herself.
She did. And she said listening back really helped her notice things about her pronunciation she wanted to improve.
It might feel a bit weird at first, though, talking to the mirror or your phone.
It probably does, yeah. But the feedback you get from actually hearing yourself produce the language can be incredibly valuable. How do you get past that awkward feeling?
That's a good question. I think maybe framing it differently helps. Don't think of it as a performance. Think of it as, like, playing with the language, experimenting.
Okay, like a language lab of one.
Exactly. And maybe setting a small goal, like today I'll practice talking about my hobbies, or I'll use these new words, makes it feel less aimless, more purposeful.
Less self-conscious, maybe.
Yeah. And hearing your own voice is feedback you just don't get otherwise.
That makes sense. Now, there was a nice moment near the end of their chat about Perry's first win.
Ah, yes. That first time she consciously tried not to translate first.
Yeah. And what she remembered was so simple, but really powerful, I thought.
What was it again?
She just started with things like, my name is Pari. I like to learn English.
Wow. That's it.
That was the start.
Yeah.
And it's so encouraging, isn't it? It shows that this whole journey, it begins with those tiny steps, maybe steps that feel a bit scary at first.
Absolutely. It's not about flipping a switch and suddenly being fluent. It's about those small moments where you manage to connect directly in English.
Even if it's just a basic sentence, that's still progress. So wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you listening right now?
Well, it means that getting to the point of thinking in English, it's a process. It's gradual.
Not instant magic.
Definitely not. It's built on doing these kinds of practical things consistently. It's about deliberately, consciously rewiring some mental habits.
So by actually doing these 5 things, using those daily phrases, describing what you see, reviewing your day in English, soaking in English content, and talking even if it's just to yourself.
You start building that direct connection. You strengthen that pathway we talked about.
Okay, so let's quickly recap those 5 steps again. 1. Use daily routine sentences.
2. Describe your surroundings in English.
3. Think through your day in English before bed.
4. Immerse yourself in English, content videos, podcasts, reading.
And 5. Don't be afraid to speak English, even solo.
And crucially, remember what Perry said. That message is so important.
Which part?
Don't be afraid of making mistakes. That's how we grow.
Ah, yes. That's key. Learning a language involves making mistakes.
Totally. It's about taking those little risks, saying something even if it's not perfect, and then learning from it, embracing the messiness of it all.
Right. Focus on the consistency, the effort, not perfection.
So for you listening, the real takeaway here is you need to speak more, actively think more in English.
And believe that you can actually make this shift, because you can.
It's a rewarding shift to make, definitely. And maybe, just maybe, a final thought to consider. What's just one tiny English thought you can choose to have right now, this very second?
Like, instead of translating something you just thought.
Exactly. Just one small, direct English thought. Because it's those little moments, those tiny shifts in your inner voice, repeated over time, that's what really leads to the big changes.